this is the final rehearsal for the final performance of the 2 monologues, and my first monologue is from La La Land, and the character is Mia, and the second is from Aaron Brockovich, and the character is Aaron Brockovich. So I'm going to start with the one from La La Land, which is the first monologue that I did, and I'm just going to run through it once, because I haven't run through it since we performed it, so I'm just going to make sure it's still memorized, and then just kind of gauge where I'm at with it, and then I'll kind of try to work with some tactics and subtext and stuff. Okay. I've been to a million auditions, and the same thing happens every time. Or I get interrupted because someone wants to get a sandwich. Or I'm crying, and they start laughing. Or there's people sitting in the waiting room, and they're like me, but prettier and better at the... Because maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm one of those people that has always wanted to do it, but it's like a pipe dream for me, you know, and you said it, you chase your dreams and then you grow up. Maybe I'm one of those people, and I'm not supposed to. And I can go back to school and find something else that I'm supposed to do, because I left to do that, and it's been 6 years, and I don't want to do it anymore, because I think it hurts just a little too much. Okay, I'm glad it's still memorized. I have to change this. But that was pretty awful. Yeah, I totally just felt like I was running lines. I think I was just, I was concerned that it was not memorized, and so that was really terrible and awkward. And I get what you're saying about, like, paying more attention about who I'm talking to, because I find my gaze, like, flickering around. Like, I have a focal point, but I definitely don't stick to it. But I think part of the reason is because in my head I'm like, she's like, I don't know, really worried, concerned, like insecure. Like, she's feeling very insecure at the moment. And so, like, having like eye contact is, I don't know, for me it's like, I feel like I wouldn't just sit there and look at him, but at the same time she feels very comfortable with this person, so I don't think she would be like looking all over the place. And so I definitely need to like picture the person I'm talking to and their reactions and react, because that was terrible. So basically she's at her parents' house, and the guy, he like is like laying on the horn of his car, and she like runs out, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I got you an audition." And she's like, "I'm not doing that." And he's like, "Yeah, you are." And so I definitely think that picturing that moment before will be helpful. And so I'm going to try doing that first. Sorry, there was like weird things on my notebook. I'm going to try like kind of doing a moment before and then starting, and see how that affects it. And I'm just going to kind of add things one at a time, I guess. I don't know why I feel so uncomfortable with this monologue right now. I don't know. Okay. I like don't even know. Well, so like, wait. So she comes out, and they talk for a second before she starts monologuing. They like argue for a second. So I guess that's not exactly the moment before. I don't know why I feel so nervous right now. So they're kind of arguing back and forth for a minute, and she's just kind of like flat out like, "No, I'm not doing it." And he keeps pushing. So that's when she kind of is like, "I'm not doing it." And she like, that's when the monologue starts. So, okay. I've been to a million auditions, and the same thing happens every time. Or I get interrupted because I think I'm like, oh, sorry, I just like stopped in the middle. I get worried about vocal patterns. And so then I get in my head because I'm like, oh no, don't have vocal patterns. Like, don't say it in the exact same pattern that you have a million times over. And so I think about that, and so then I try to purposely vary my vocal patterns, and then I get totally pulled out and like worried about what I'm doing, and because I'm like so concerned about vocal patterns. So if I like fall into vocal patterns this time, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna try to not think about it and just focus on that moment before, because if I like worry about the vocal patterns, I'm gonna get totally pulled out. Okay. I've been to a million auditions, and the same thing happens every time. Or I get interrupted because someone wants to get a sandwich. Or I'm crying and they start laughing. Or reading room and they're like me, but prettier and better at the, because maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm one of those people that has always wanted to do it, but it's like a pipe dream for me, and you said it. You chase your dreams and then you grow up. Maybe I'm one of those people and I'm not supposed to. And I can go back to school and find something else that I'm supposed to do because I left to do that and it's been 6 years and I don't want to do it anymore because I think it hurts just a little too much. Okay, I feel like that was a little bit better. Having that moment before, I feel like helps that very beginning part. I still feel like sometimes I get a little bit awkward. I feel like I was always told not to cross my arms because that's like very closed off, but I feel like she is like extremely like closing off. She's like, she does not feel comfortable. She's like being very vulnerable and that scares her because she's been rejected so many times. And so I don't know if that's like wrong, but that's just kind of how I feel like she would be like very like closed off, like stop pushing, like I don't want to do this. And then for tactics, I feel like I need to have this written down so I feel like I don't have her monologue actually like written out. I think I'm going to just take a minute and write it out. This might be a little longer than 15 minutes. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Okay. I just feel like I need to be able to write my tactics out. And I didn't do this for this one for some reason. I don't remember why, but maybe I'll put a timestamp on the description of when I'm done writing so you don't have to try to skip it. Okay. Sorry, that took me forever. Okay, so for the first while, I think, like, she's, like, making excuses. She's trying to, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out a word. I think she's trying to kind of show him why she's not good enough, and throughout all of this, the subtext is almost like, I'm not good enough. Everyone says I'm not good enough. Nobody thinks that I'm good enough, And then he keeps pushing, and he's like, that's, you're giving me bull crap right now. Like, why do you really not want to do it? Because, these aren't good reasons. And then that's when the subtext kind of comes out, and she, like, flat out says, because maybe I'm not good enough. And because I think she doesn't want to say that outright, because, I don't know, that's, like, a harsh thing to say about yourself. And I think that coming to that real, like, saying that out loud would probably be, like, hurting. It hurts to think about all the rejection, and, like, to think, like, I'm not, because a lot of times, like, I feel like when you're auditioning or you're submitting manuscripts or whatever you're doing, like, the constant rejection, you just try to tell yourself, it's not me. Like, everyone who is great gets lots of rejection. But she's to the point where she's like, I should have made it by now. Like, if I was good, if the rejection was just rejection, because that's what happens to people whether you're brilliant or you're not, then I would have broken through by now. And so coming to that moment of I'm not good enough, I feel like that's painful for her to say as much as it is for her to hear or for her to think. And so when she says that to him out loud, I feel like, I don't know, trying to almost show him how much it's been hurting her and how much pain all the rejection has caused her, and trying to make him see that it's not worth it to her anymore because of, like, how much pain that is like showing her, and that vulnerability. So I kind of feel like, I don't really know if there's, like, I can't think of a tactic word for that. Almost, I wouldn't say, like, guilting him. It's just, like, straight up being honest with him, like, trying to show him, make him feel bad, and make him realize that it's hurting her because he cares about her, and just being like, this is not good for me anymore. I can't think of a tactic word for those first few lines. Almost trying to distract him, deflect, almost like logic him out of it, almost like being like, these are the things that have happened. These are reasons why, like, listing out all the reasons why she shouldn't audition anymore, even though they're not really good reasons. Trying to almost get him off her back. I would say, like, distracting him from the real issue, and just, like, trying to throw out, like, these are all the reasons why, now leave me alone. And he is, like, not having it. And so when, like, that deflecting, distracting doesn't work, she finally is just, like, decides to be vulnerable with him, and, like, to see if that works maybe. So in the beginning, yeah, I guess she's, like, trying to distract, deflect, give him logical reasons why, like, as logical as she can think of, because right now she's trying to keep it less personal. She's, like, doesn't want to, she's trying to, like, be, like, logic about it. Like, this is why I shouldn't audition. Like, look at everything that's happened. Clearly, something isn't right here. And because she almost doesn't want to get vulnerable in the beginning, and so she's hoping she can get him off her back that way. But then when it doesn't work, she's like, fine, like, I'll tell you the real reason, like, or I'll be vulnerable with you, and maybe that'll show you why I'm not meant for this. And I feel like she kind of sticks with that vulnerability for a few lines, and then I feel like she's kind of trying to logic it out again, use his own words against him, kind of. I don't know, I wish I could come up with concrete words, but I almost feel like just talking through kind of what she's doing and like that subtext is more useful than like coming up with a solid tactic word. I don't know, maybe not. But yeah, trying to use his own words against him. And then I think like she can kind of see that it's like he's like almost not really like hurting for her, because he's kind of like, you're an idiot, like not really you're an idiot, but stop making these excuses, you know. But he's kind of like looking at her like, this is sad, not like I feel sad for you, but that you have come to this conclusion is sad. And she can kind of see that in his expression, and clearly it's still not working because he is not really buying into it. He's just like, this is sad that you think this, it's still wrong. And then so she like changes it and tries to like be more upbeat about it and tries to be like, well, like, look, here's another option for me, you know, like this isn't all bad, like this isn't like a lost dream, like I'm not going to be a sad person for the rest of my life. I'm going to go back to school and find something that I'm supposed to do. I'm going to find my true calling in life, and it's going to be so much better than this. And trying to almost cheer him up, even though he's not feeling like, I don't know. Yeah. Like maybe just like cheer him up, be like, look, like it's okay. Like it's okay. And then he's still not buying it. He's still like, no, that's bullcrap. And so then she just flats out, she's like, I don't want to do it anymore. And basically the subtext is there, you can't make me, you know. Oh, I'm gonna write that in, I like that. She just kind of shuts down. She's like, you know what, fine, I can't convince you, I don't want to do it anymore, and there's nothing that you can do to make me do it, kind of is where she comes to. And then I think he asks her, why don't you want to do it anymore? And I think she comes back to that vulnerability of, you know, I think it hurts just a little too much, but she's still in that mode of like, it hurts too much and you can't make me do it, and I'm not going to do it, and I'm done. And I kind of feel like that's where the monologue leaves off. He says just, you know, one more audition or something, and she's like, I've been to 1 million auditions. Okay, I'm gonna try that again now that I've kind of talked through it. I've got to write this down in some way. Okay. I hope I can remember everything I just said. Okay. I've been to 1 million auditions, and the same thing happens every time. Or I get interrupted because someone wants to get a sandwich, or I'm crying and they start laughing, or there's people sitting in the waiting room and they're like me but prettier and better at the... Because maybe I'm not good enough. I don't think that went well. I want to try that first part again, that like kind of distracting part. I'm going to do the moment before, I'm going to try the distracting part, and then I'm going to try to visualize his face and like the change in, like not the change, but just kind of like the, I'm not buying this, like tell me what this is really about, and try to focus on that first part. Okay. Sorry, this is getting really, really long. Wow, it's been 20 minutes and I'm only on the first monologue. I'm so sorry. Okay. I've been to a million auditions, and the same thing happens every time. Or I get interrupted because someone wants to get a sandwich. Or I'm crying and they start laughing. Or there's people sitting in the waiting room and they're like me, but prettier and better at the... Because maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm one of those people that has always wanted to do it, but it's like a pipe dream for me, you know, and you said it. You chase your dreams and then you grow up. Maybe I'm one of those people, and I'm not supposed to. And I can go back to school and find something else that I'm supposed to do, because I left to do that, and it's been 6 years, and I don't want to do it anymore. Because I think it hurts just a little too much. I think that was better. I think I like using those tap-ins. I think I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to move to my next monologue, because this is getting heck a lot. I kind of went through and did this similar thing with this the second monologue, and so I kind of feel like I'm sure that you have a million students, so it's not like you can reply to every single person, and plus I turned it in late, so I'm not, like, I just mean that I didn't, oh goodness.